Welcome again, my friends, to the Basement Sublet of Horror. I'm your host, Gunther Dedmund, returning to you once again with another awful film. Tonight, The Wasp Woman, a 1968 gem from Roger Corman, our favorite low-budget director. But first, let me explain what's going on here. I can't stand sitting through these awful films, so I take these films and I surgically alter them, reducing the size way down to a manageable 45 minutes or so. Then I intersperse other unrelated related material with it, just whatever strikes me at the moment. There's no rhyme, there's no reason, only the crime of film butchery is happening here. So tonight, our film, The Wasp Woman, a story about a woman who, well, you can figure out the rest from there. Anyway, it takes place in an office building, a corporate office building, and I was thinking, I wonder, how could I work in an office?
This is your first course in preparing for an office job. You're starting a new career. It can be fun, or it can be hard. It all depends on the way you look at things, your attitude. For instance, you'll be working in an office. Well, don't forget the golden rule works there just as it does anywhere else. Treat others as you want to be treated.
You can see, gentlemen, sales for the last fiscal quarter have dropped 14.5%. There has not been a corresponding drop in our competitor sales. I trust one of you gentlemen has a satisfactory explanation for this decline. Not one little suggestion, gentlemen.
I think I can tell you why Starlin products are falling off so badly, Miss Starlin.
We're listening, Lane. Where would you put the responsibility for this decline?
On you, Miss Starlin.
You're a creature of habit, Barbara. We all are. Unfortunately, not all of your habits are good ones. This was how your day started.
I imagine you have arguments to support that contention.
We've all been looking at it for the past 20 minutes. The most convincing argument is right on that graph. May I show you? Thank you. Now, right here in April is when Starlin sales started falling off.
Very clever of you, Lane.
Would you mind waiting until I finish, Miss Starlin?
That's enough, Lane.
In all society, at all ages, we know that people are going to talk about other people. Unfortunately, our faults are often more discussed than our good points. And sometimes our good points are completely hidden by our faults. But perhaps worst of all is our own disappointment in ourselves and the remarks we imagine our friends are making about us.
Gee, I think dirty fingernails are horrible.
Relax, Willis. My apologies for the interruption. Go on.
Thank you. Now, as I said, sales began to fall in April. But the reason for the fall was back here in February. Starlin products have always been thought of as something of a modern miracle in the cosmetics trade. A firm built to a multi-million-dollar-a-year business on the strength and appeal of one person, Janice Starlin. From the beginning right through until February of this year, only one woman's face was used to advertise those products. Your face, Miss Starlin. The public have come to accept you as a symbol. Well, now, after 16 years, they see a different face. They don't trust it. They feel cheated. The simple fact is that Starlin Cosmetics should have Janice Starlin's picture advertising them. Well, that's about all I've got to say.
A darn good job of saying it, too.
I agree. Lane makes a lot of sense on that score, Miss Starlin.
I think I've had enough flattery for one morning, gentlemen.
It's a little late for tears, isn't it, Barbara? Even though you didn't know it was going to happen today, you've still had your whole life to prepare for it. Of course, you've gotten into the habit of not being prepared. And now it's a little late, isn't it?
Winthrop! Winthrop!
Now, look here, Winthrop. What's all this nonsense about wasps?
I'm so glad you dropped in, Mr. Barker. Mr. Barker, I'm on the verge of a great discovery.
Discovery? What do you mean?
Well, sir, I almost perfected a new method of extracting royal jelly from the queen wasp. Let me just show you something. Already I've learned to slow the process of aging. Soon, I shall be able to reverse it entirely.
I understand about science and progress and all that, but you were attained to extract queen bee royal jelly. Now, it's a health food, a cosmetic. It's not a miracle drug or an elixir of youth. That sort of thing is impossible.
Oh, but Mr. Parker...
Zinthrop, I'm sorry, Zinthrop, but I'm going to have to let you go. You just don't seem to be one of the team. You understand. Good luck. I'm sure you'll fit in somewhere.
Youth is a happy time and a carefree time. A time of auto rides and double dates. It's a time of fun, of pranks and jokes, of ice cream cones and chocolate sodas. Youth is a time for getting a job, for finding one's place in the world. But sometimes in these troubled days, the very thoughtlessness of youth has led to a living nightmare.
Arthur,
Yes, Miss Dawson.
I'd like to see you in my office, please.
Sure, Miss Dawson. Take it easy, Hotshot. Something on your mind, Miss Dolan?
You've done some work on royal jelly, haven't you?
A little.
Are there any real therapeutic values in it?
Well, I'd say so. Of course, a lot depends on each individual's reaction to the stuff.
What do you mean?
It's just that no two people reacted precisely the same way. One man's meat's another man's poison.
Oh. But you think royal jelly can be beneficial in some cases?
Queen bees set a lot of store by it.
I'll accept that as an affirmative answer. Supposing a more powerful form of royal jelly could be obtained, from the queen wasp, for example, do you suppose that might have some rejuvenating effect on a human being?
I'd stay away from wasps if I were you, Miss Dolan. Socially, the queen wasp is on a level with the black widow spider. They're both carnivorous. They paralyze their victims and then take their time devouring them alive. They kill their mates in the same way, too. Strictly a one-sided romance.
Well, I'm not exactly interested in the love life of the queen wasp. I want your opinion on the possibilities of using enzyme extracts from royal wasp jelly, commercially.
Well, if you want an honest opinion, Miss Dolan...
Of course I want an honest opinion.
Then my advice is forget about it.
Thank you, Arthur.
Anytime, Miss Dolan.
Have Mr. Zinthrop come in.
Yes, Miss Darlin.
You can go in now, sir.
Oh. About time.
When you work in an office, meeting the public, whether it's in person or by telephone, is an important part of your job. It can be pleasant like this.
Darling.
Yes. How do you do? I'm afraid I won't be able to give you much time, Mr. Gunther.
But it is I who give you the time, Miss Darling. Oh, yes. Plenty of time I give you. 10, maybe 15 years I give you.
I want you to understand one thing very clearly, Mr. Gunther. I expect absolute proof of what you claimed in your letter. Tangible proof, not words.
Such proof you shall get, madame, and more. But I think I better show you in the laboratory, yes?
All right. Come on.
Look.
They look terrible. Why don't you put them out of their misery?
Madame, you ask for proof. Please be kind enough to look at proof you ask for. May I proceed? Thank you. Now, come. In a few minutes, madame, you shall see a miracle you shall not believe. Oh, no tricks. You may look if you like. I have no tricks. Well, don't look at me. I'm not changing.
I don't believe it. It's not possible.
Helen has a habit plan, and it includes a healthy breakfast and a pleasant word with her parents. All three always enjoyed Mr. Elliott's comments on the news. It was time to get started for office and school. Helen's dad would drop her on the way downtown.
Well, Miss Darling, does my secret have interest for you, yes?
What are your terms, Mr. Zenthrop?
First, I must have a laboratory equipped with everything I need for my research. If we're successful, well, I ask for a little percentage. But I must get full credit for my discovery. That is most important to me.
I'll have Gordon draw up the contracts.
Oh, contracts. Contracts I do not need. You give me your word. Good enough for me.
You amaze me. Frankly, when I received your letter, I thought you were just another eccentric. But there's always a chance you might not be.
My formula may not be good for human beings. I have not tested yet.
You will on me.
Oh, no. There might be danger.
Those are my terms, Mr. Zenthrop. Janice Starlin will be your next guinea pig.
Very well. Though it may take a little time to prepare sufficient extract, a week, maybe more.
I'll make whatever arrangements you may need for your equipment.
Thank you, madame. Now I see how you built all this.
I'm very close to losing it, Mr. Zenthrop. Maybe working together we can save Janice Starlin Enterprises. Maybe even make it bigger than ever before.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Hello, Gunther Dedmund. You're watching the Basement Sublet of Horror. Tonight's film is The Wasp Woman, and so far, well, we've just had nothing but boring old build-up. Anyway, it'll get better, I promise. Anyway, so Janet Starling, the lead of the film, who will later become, well, I won't tell you, has promised to make her business bigger and better than ever. And if we all know from past experience, whenever something like that occurs, you know there's trouble on the way.
And now, back to the Basement Sublet of Horror.
Why do they only show bees in this movie? Every time they show a shot of wasps, it's bees. What is going on here? It's almost as if it's a low-budget horror film. Oh.
I'm sure the next 3 months we'll see a rise in Starlin sales that will surpass anything we've dared imagine. Mr. Zinthrop is working on the final stages of a development that will revolutionize the cosmetic industry. He's to have a free hand in his experiments and will be answerable to no one but myself. At the moment, I cannot divulge the nature of Mr. Zinthrop's experiments, but I can assure you it will bring worldwide recognition to Janice Starlin Enterprises.
Yes, a good start. But these improvements are not yet habits, not by any means. They must happen again and again until they fit into the fabric of the days without conscious thought.
Good morning, Miss Darling. Good morning.
Good morning. I couldn't get away any sooner. Is it important?
Miss Darling, do you remember the big cat I showed you last week? No?
What about it?
Well, I want you to look at him. Come.
No.
Quite a difference, yes?
That's incredible. Say, Mark.
It's a cat.
You're young again. Can you realize what that means? You're a kitten again. Your whole life to live over. How does it feel?
I think perhaps you'll be able to find out for yourself, Miss Darling. Today will be your first injection. Sit down, please.
The register. You'll be very pleased. Newlyweds. Thank you. Now make yourselves at home while I prepare your room. I'll be right back.
Yes, we are making progress. There's great improvement in the tissue.
Why is it taking so long? It's the third week.
You forget, my dear, there's more to you than a little kitten, no? Besides, there's a difference in metabolism.
Why not increase the dosage? Wouldn't that step up the process?
Patience, my dear, patience. We must tread lightly, with care, Your Honor.
An overdose causes unconsciousness, then death. A smaller dose, taken into the bloodstream, inhibits all the functions of the body by its action on the brain and the central nervous system. But the body gradually builds up a tolerance to the drug. More and more is needed to produce the same effects. After continued use, the body acquires a physical dependence.
There. You know, I've been experimenting with a concentrated solution of the enzymes. Oh, a great deal more powerful than the solution I've been using in your injection.
Oh?
Yes. And I think I think it will be better for lotions. As an emollient lotion, it'll make estrogenic creams and all such products old-fashioned. My dear, Stalin will be world famous, bringing you to millions.
You're right, Winthrop. There are going to be a few red faces in my advertising department.
But I am right. Why, your own mirror will tell you that I am right. Why, you look at least 5 years younger than you looked 3 weeks ago.
I know.
You'll have to translate for me, Coop. I'm not very good at that technical stuff.
Pseudo-technical. Mr. Zinthrop's a very capable confidence man, from what I read in this letter. He claims he can stimulate the processes of rejuvenation through the use of enzymes extracted from wasps.
Oh, for...
Well, what are you two Sherlocks going to do about it?
Right now, I don't know.
Frankly, I'm getting tired of the whole business. That woman's so intent on holding back time, she's ready to fall for the first phony line she hears. Wasps.
Phil.
Face the facts, Mary Janice Starland has built her whole life on youth and beauty. Now that she's losing them, she's scared to death. Right now, she's on cloud 9 with that quack Zinthrop that I'd hate to be around when she comes back down to earth.
Well, maybe we can let her down easy. I think we owe her that much.
Yeah.
Action is different from that of the depressants. It has a strong effect on body functions by acting on the brain, causes unusual and often unpredictable feelings and actions. Instead of physical dependence, profound mental and emotional disturbances. A large overdose causes convulsions, then death.
What is it, Maureen?
It is you, Miss Dunn.
Of course it's me. Who did you think it was?
You look so different.
Finish your nails. Maureen. I think your phone is ringing.
Oh, yes, Miss Starlin. Good morning. Janice Starlin Enterprises.
Gentlemen, Janice Starlin Enterprises is about to start on the most widespread publicity campaign in the history of the cosmetic industry. Our slogan will be, Return to Youth for Janice Starlin. When Mr. Zinthrop arrives, there will be a press interview, and all questions regarding the rejuvenation process will be referred to him. That'll be all for now, gentlemen.
It's amazing. Oh, it's wonderful. You look marvelous.
I said that will be all for now, gentlemen. Good morning.
Duke, I want no part of you.
Don't be a square. What's it getting you?
I don't know yet, Duke. I took plenty to kick the habit. It's my chance, and I'm taking it.
Chance? You ain't got no chance. You're just a junkie to everybody around here.
I know. But they helped me get a job in here. And they went to see Ma. And the doc says that if
Doc says? What does he know?
my parlor, please do. Here is your sweet.
Years ago, a bunch of quacks were treating people with monkey glands. Seemed to work for a while. And then the deterioration set in.
That's awful. Do you think that will happen to Jan?
I don't know. If I could just get inside of his lab and run a breakdown on what he's using.
Even if you're not really well-mannered, you could make a habit of being civil. And you weren't really up when your mother called you. Little lies are such a firm foundation for big ones.
Ah, the doctor was just run down by a car. Isn't that just so too bad? Oh, anyway. Well, the only character in the film who could fix things is now incapacitated. Just about time for things to go bad, don't you think? So, just stay tuned.
And now, back to the Basement Sublet of Horror.
You're watching The Wasp Woman, and we're about halfway through. And anyway, oh, forget the film. Let's see what's happening with tonight's cartoon, The Cobweb Hotel.
Find him, Mr. Hellman. I don't care what it costs.
Well, we'll find him, all right. Sooner or later, we find them all.
Time is vital, Mr. Hellman. Every hour he's gone, it means more than you can possibly imagine.
Well, you haven't given me very much to go on. No home address, no former employer, no phone. This is just like starting from scratch.
Mr. Zinthrop wasn't a conventional employee. He didn't go through regular personnel.
Uh-huh. You say he came here about a month ago. Well, how did he come here, Miss Starlin? He just didn't walk in off the street, did he?
The letter. Right here in my drawer.
Maybe one of the other drawers. Miss Starlin. The letter's been taken, and you think you know who took it. Is that right?
My secretary, Miss Dennison.
You got her address handy?
Her phone number.
It might be better if I busted in on her cold. This way she'll have a chance to prepare a story.
I know what I'm doing.
All right.
Mary? Janice Starlin.
But before I went to lunch, I made a duplicate copy of Mr. Zinthrop's letter. I was going to take that one to Bill and Mr. Cooper at first, but then I thought that the original would be better.
Have you got the copy?
Yes, it's in my desk.
Get that copy, Miss Dennison.
It isn't my attitude that's wrong. It's the people who come into that office.
I'm going to look for another job.
Well, it looks like we've got him. There's a John Doe down at Central Emergency, auto accident. There's no identification on him, but he was wearing a lab smock and filled Zinthrop's description.
Mary, get my coat and Len, get a cab downstairs. He badly hurt.
Head injury, general contusions of the body. He's had a severe injury, and there's definite brain damage. Just how much, we can't tell as yet.
How long before you'll know?
It's hard to say, Miss Starlin.
Who's the best man for this kind of injury?
Well, there are several top specialists.
Get the best. I'll take full responsibility for the expenses.
Yes, Miss Starlin. It's been 3 days since the accident, Jan. And no sign of improvement. He's still in a coma. You heard what the doctor said. He may never regain consciousness. And even if he does, who knows how badly his brain has been damaged.
Well, I'll give it another 48 hours. If he doesn't regain consciousness by then, well, you can take over the laboratory, Arthur.
Janet.
It's my decision.
Their only goal in life is to keep the deadening chemicals forever in their heart's blood. Forever in their heart's blood. The major problem is helping the addict achieve a workable psychological adjustment to life, a life which doesn't include drugs. It's a difficult procedure. No hospital, no doctor can be sure of success in trying to change long-time attitudes.
Every newspaper and magazine in the country will be flooded with our new slogan. Return to youth with Janice Starlin.
Excuse me, Miss Starlin.
What is it, Thompson?
I think we should be a little conservative, Miss Starlin. Cosmetics are one thing, medications another. We're liable to run into trouble.
Yes. All advertising copy will be cleared through your office.
Well, it's a touchy business, you know.
Max is right, Miss Starlin.
Don't have to second the motion, Lane. I want one thing understood very clearly now, gentlemen. Janice Starlin Enterprises is going to bring the most fantastically saleable product ever developed by modern cosmetics to the public. And I don't intend to be restricted by timidity on the part of my own staff. Is that clear? Well, that'll be all for now, gentlemen. We've had a room specially made over for you, Mr. Zinthrop. And Miss Warren has a room adjoining yours, so there'll be someone near you at all times.
Thank you. Thank you.
When you're feeling better, Mr. Zinthrop, there are a few things I'd like to discuss with you.
Good, good. There's something. I must tell you something important. But I cannot remember.
I'm sure it can wait. Right now, the main thing is to get you back to health. Take good care of him, Miss Warren.
Yes, Miss Darling.
Sure is funny about old Coop.
He misses one day of work and you're ready to call missing person.
Well, he's a pretty conscientious guy, honey. If he felt sick or something, he'd have called in.
Relax. He'll probably be in bright and chipper in the morning.
Interrupting something?
Oh, we were just having a little coffee clutch, Miss Starlin. We were talking about Mr. Cooper.
What about Mr. Cooper?
Well, about his missing the meeting this morning. Nobody's been able to reach him all day.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that. Mr. Cooper's been here a long time. Probably feels he's entitled to take a day for himself now and then.
That's what I've been trying to tell Mr. Lane.
Oh, by the way, Miss Starlin, how is Mr. Zinthrop?
Oh, fine. In a few days, we'll start the layouts for the campaign.
Oh, I'm ready when you are, boss.
Look those over.
The duties which had once been a nightmare for her became instead the pleasant and exciting experience of meeting the public.
Guaranteed of this, too.
that? What?
Here, lie back now. You just had a bad dream. Lie down now.
Oh,
Go to sleep.
such horrible sound. Like a nightmare.
It's a bad dream. Lie down. Just a dream.
Tell Mr. Green that personnel is his responsibility. I have other things to think about than worrying whether the night watchman walked off the job.
Well, that's just it, Miss Starlin. Mr. Green feels that the watchman never left the building. His lunch pail and his raincoat are still in the basement.
I don't want to hear anything more about it, Mary.
All right, Miss Starlin.
We'll use these.
Oh, fine.
She swears she heard a scream from one of the other floors. Zinthrop heard it too, but she convinced him he was having a bad dream.
Oh, maybe they both were.
Sorry, I seem to have dozed off there. You're watching The Wasp Woman on the Basement Sublet of Horror. And not that it's boring, but, well, I just seem to have dozed off. Well, anyway, you go back to the film and I'll just sit here and wait for you to get back.
And now, back to the Basement Sublet of Horror.
To recap tonight's film, we're about 3/4 of the way through. So far, Janet Starling, trying to regain her popularity in business, has gone and done a silly thing. She's injected herself with the royal jelly of a wasp. And guess what? Things are going bad here. Anyway, there are other people in the corporate office where she works, as people in corporate offices will do, are snooping around and digging, trying to find out what's going on, as if it isn't obvious already. Anyway, back to the film. Let's go.
There's something going on in that building. And I'm going to find out what it is.
How?
Have a look around Cooper's lab, for one thing. After that, I don't know.
Hold it steady.
Phil, this is crazy. We could really get in trouble.
In the days that followed, Barbara did her best to acquire a genuine interest in people, for she found that smiles are effective only when they're genuine. She carefully practiced the first basic rule. She learned to anticipate Mr. Thompson's needs. As different kinds of situations came up, Barbara discovered the proper way to handle them. It wasn't all easy. She made some mistakes, of course. Yes, Barbara learned to be on guard against the visitor who asks too many questions, to handle him tactfully but firmly.
I won't tire him, Miss Warren, but it is important.
All right, Miss Starlin. I'll be in my room.
Zinthrop, you've got to help me. Something's happening. Something's happening to me. I can't control it.
There is something I must remember, but I can't.
Try to think. The wasp enzymes. The extracts you were experimenting with before the accident. Try to think.
I can't.
Well, this is Zinthrop's notebook, Mary. Notes on his experiments with Jan.
Well, how did Cooper get hold of it?
I don't know. If only Coop would show up. Mary, look.
It's Mr. Cooper's pipe.
Don't you get it? He's going to go out without his pants and leave that pipe behind. He's still somewhere in the building. I bet a year's salary on it.
If he is.
He's dead. And the night watchman.
There's only enough left for one more injection. One more.
You've got to make more, Zinthrop. Help me, Zinthrop.
Please, my head, oh, my head.
Zinthrop, help me!
Oh, what?
Help me! I don't think she told that man the truth. Well, I'm going to find out whether she told the truth or not right this minute. Young lady, miss.
Don't touch him.
If anybody knows what's behind all this, it's him. Mr. Zinthrop.
Bill. Look at...
Her coat, purse, and everything else are still in there. She wouldn't go out without her purse.
Bill, let's get out of here. I don't like it.
The cat. The cat. You must warn her.
Mr. Zinthrop.
Who are
Well, there's nothing to be alarmed about, Mr. Zinthrop. I'm Bill Lane, and this is Miss Dennison, Miss Starlin's secretary.
you? Miss Starlin. The cat.
What about a cat?
Must warn her. Injections. Must not take any more injections.
Is Miss Darlin in danger?
Terrible danger. I must...
Take it easy, Mr. Zinthrop. You're still pretty weak. Mary, see if you can get Jan on the phone.
All right.
There's no answer. Oh, Miss Darlin?
Is that you, Mary?
Where are you? We're in the building. We're in Mr. Zintrop's room. Something's happened down
Here,
here.
let me talk to her. Hello, Miss Starlin. This is Lane.
Why are you and Mary still in the building?
I must help. I'm
Don't let it get up, Mary.
I must help. You must not
I
hold
can't
me
explain
back.
now, Miss Starlin.
I must go.
Hang on to her.
I must help. You must not hold me back.
Don't worry, Mr. Zinthrop. We won't let anything happen to Miss Darlin.
Hello. Hello, Miss Starlin.
What's going on down there?
Stay in your office. I'll be right up. Keep an eye on Zinthrop, honey. I'm going upstairs.
Oh, no. The insect. The insect.
Take it easy, Mr. Zinthrop.
You do not understand. Miss Darling, she's in danger. I must warn her.
Look, I'll have to stay here. You go for Jan. When you get up there, call the police. You can't get outside on this phone.
All right, I'll hurry. Miss Darlin! Miss Darlin! It's me, Mary! Miss Darlin, please, open the door!
What is it, Mary? Darling, please. Will you please call the police?
What for?
Look, I don't have time to... Mary! I'm sorry I had to do that. There's no time for hysteria. Now, what is this?
The enzymes, they've gone crazy.
Sure, Mr. Zinthrop. Now, you just relax and take it easy. Everything will be all right. We'll take care of those, whatever
You do
you
not
call them.
understand. You do not understand that girl. You shouldn't have sent her upstairs. She's in danger. You must stop her before it is too late.
Okay, as soon as the cops get here, we'll take
Oh, you fool, you fool. Miss Darling will kill her and tear her body to shreds.
Miss Starlin, kill Mary?
Miss Darling is not a human being any longer. The enzymes have changed her. She will destroy the girl as a female wasp would destroy her enemies, and then devour the remains.
We've got to call the police now.
Now, Mary, you're just getting a little excited. Now, who could possibly want to hurt Mr. Coop?
I don't know. But it's not only Mr. Cooper. What about...
Mary! Wait! I go with you.
I can't wait. I'm going to take the stairs.
Oh, look! Laboratory. She's going to laboratory.
Get up the stairs fast. Mary.
Oh, Mary.
Only by avoiding these drugs completely can he be sure that he will remain forever safe from a vicious habit which enslaves not only one's body, but the soul as well.
Thank you for tuning in to the Basement Sublet of Horror. I, your host, Gunther Dedmund, will return next week with another awful film specially prepared for you. So until then, good night, my friends.